We have unexpected guest, young talent that is challenging compliance that protects your anonymity, Jakub, and Jakub will introduce himself and show the solution based on Panther protocol. And it's interesting that we're here also with that solution talking a lot about the thin line between compliance and anonymity, and it's interesting to hear all the voices and to see what are the tools has been built and projected with the market and how they could help to solve specific needs for maybe specific audiences or broader public.
Thanks a lot, Mikola. So, hello everyone, I'm Jakub, as Mikola already mentioned, and I'm the CMO of Purify. And what we are essentially, so, wait, where's the clicker? Okay. So, so what I would like to essentially present with this speech is how it's possible to approach decentralized compliance without actually impacting the privacy or the decentralization aspect of it, and therefore eliminate the malicious actors that have made this space sanctioned, for example, in the case of Tornado Cash, and has shed bad light on the whole space. Yeah, so based on the statistics, money laundering has made up $24 billion in 2022, and which has been a 60% increase over 2021. And mixers have processed $8 billion, out of which we can say only or like 24%, which is quite a lot. And especially like a major portion of it went from Lazarus, which is the North Korean hacker group. And the precedent that the SEC has put in like the other US organization is that Tornado Cash was sanctioned mainly because of the fact that they haven't been able to protect their application from malicious users, and it has been used for money laundering purposes. And so what I would like to essentially establish through this speech is we all know why we are here, like making privacy-preserving applications, mixers, and other privacy protection solutions is the only way how we can protect ourselves from governments and other organizations that watch us all the time. But there's also the privacy dilemma that by essentially building these applications, we also allow malicious actors, including human traffickers, hackers, and others, to launder their money and essentially make it economically feasible to do what they do. And we believe that decentralized compliance that is built on the pillars of privacy and decentralization can help within this aspect. So, as I said, it would be amazing if all applications would be completely permissionless and private, but there's also the aspect of it that it can be exploited by bad actors, such as human traffickers, hackers, and others. And there are multiple consequences for it. So if you're a user, by essentially providing liquidity, you can help these actors to launder money. So there's the morality aspect of it. If the application gets sanctioned, as for example, Tornado Cash was, you can be potentially in problems with exchanges if you have ever sent money there. Whenever you send money after interacting with Tornado Cash, your money gets frozen, and you would have to then very hardly prove the exchanges that your assets have been actually clean, and it sheds a bad light on the whole industry. Privacy solutions, because of the fact that they are being used by malicious actors, are actually not really accessible for retail users in the crypto space, because they just say that that they don't need it and that only hackers use it or other similar stuff. And it also decreases like trust in crypto as a whole. So how we can fix this? We believe that it can be done with decentralized compliance, and there are essentially multiple ways to do that. There are ways to do it completely in a privacy-preserving way, and then some that have some compromise to it. So there are multiple companies. I've highlighted only the main ones and the one of ours. So there's like AML screening, which essentially works by having a very big database of labeled addresses, exchanges, dark markets, everything like that. And then there's the decentralized ID aspect of it. And by using AML screening, you essentially calculate the risk score of the assets that are being transferred based on its history. And thanks to the fact that most blockchains are public, except of course the ones that are private, like Secret or Monero, and others that have been speaking at this conference. And we can essentially calculate the total risk score on the back end without affecting the privacy or the UX of the user in any way. And the decentralized ID aspect of it, which is also often referred to by verifiable credentials, is a standard created by W3C that allows you to go through verification once at the provider that you choose, and then you can essentially communicate with the different applications and reveal them information through zero-knowledge proofs. And therefore, the application can verify that you are, for example, not from sanctioned country, you are over 18 years old, or anything else really, without actually revealing the sensitive information and without the application knowing anything about you. And so the main solutions here are, on the AML side, the list is really limited, so it's our company, Happy, and then maybe Gatekeeper. There are also other ways how to do that, with, for example, adhering to sanction lists, but that only prevents like main organizations like Lazarus if they would be using the same address, but it doesn't really solve the issue of that when someone new hacks a protocol, he isn't on the sanction list yet and therefore can interact with all the applications permissionlessly. And on the decentralized ID, Polygon is a major player with their Polygon ID, which is decentralized in a way that it integrates a lot of different providers, similar to what we are doing, and ontology is essentially the same. All of them are adhering to the same standard of verifiable credentials. And what we're essentially doing at Verify is that we are aggregating multiple providers, both from the side of AML and decentralized identity. So on the side of AML, we have providers that most of you will not like, such as Chainalysis or Crystal. But we are also working on like completely decentralized solutions, which I will get to in a second. And the solution gets integrated directly on the smart contract layer, which essentially means that if it would be integrated in Tornado Cash, any assets that will be coming into the pools would have to be of a clean origin. If any malicious actor would be trying to use it, it would automatically block him. So it's completely unbypassable. In the case of, for example, what Uniswap, Aave, Balancer, and other VC-backed applications have been doing is that they've essentially integrated compliance checks on the front end, but when it comes to malicious actors, they can just interact with it over an aggregator like 1inch, for example, or just connect to a mirror version of it, or directly interact with the smart contracts themselves, which is a problem, of course, because it doesn't like prevent anything. So we have recently announced partnership with Panther Protocol, which is a privacy solution like any other. They are a mixer that wants to become compliant so that they are not sanctioned and they are open to everyone. So this is essentially how it works. Whenever a user will be trying to deposit a transaction, it will have to go through an AML screening. If it will be over, for example, 80%, which would mean that his assets are provably of a malicious origin, the smart contract would automatically block him. And otherwise, he will have to, due to regulatory reasons, complete a KYC that consists only of a name plus email. So it doesn't really reveal any sensitive information on that side. As you can see on within the Purify Square, we are just a protocol that aggregates other solutions, and we are essentially acting as an open marketplace. And the issue, what we are like for the privacy sector may have to be scared of, is the fact that with MiCA 2, which is proposed by European Commission and that may come already in 2025, is that there's a possibility that they will be trying to apply the same regulations from the CeFi sector to DeFi, which would essentially mean that every application that has some entity behind it, Uniswap has Uniswap Foundation, and every single DeFi project, apart from few, has some people behind them that are public. Therefore, they would have to comply. So that means AML, KYC, or other solutions to handle that. And if we don't have decentralized solutions by then, it could mean that we would have to resort to solutions that aren't censorship resistant and are not built on the pillars of crypto in any way. And the US is essentially doing the same thing. They are planning to integrate like bank-like regulations to DeFi. So I believe that we have to do something that will keep this space how it should be, while preserving privacy and while allowing only trustworthy users to interact with the applications, block the malicious actors as much as we can. And what we want to build, so we totally realize the implications of having Chainalysis or Crystal and other solutions within your smart contracts. It's a one point of failure, so if one of the providers decides to add some address on the blacklist, you can't really do much outside of deintegrating them. So what we want to do is to create essentially decentralized data solution where all the addresses are on decentralized storage. Community can govern what addresses to add or remove based on a reputation system, and the indexing software that essentially calculates the different AML scores could be open source, so any application, including ones that are built on true privacy values so that there's no chance of one entity influencing it, they can run their own indexing. So, and we are building it for the ecosystem as a whole, so we would really appreciate if you would provide some feedback on this to ensure that it's suitable for both conventional DApps that are built on the pillars of decentralization but aren't really into privacy as much, but also to privacy-centric DApps. And actually, apart from Panther Protocol, zkBob, which you may probably know, who knows zkBob? They have added us on the roadmaps to integrate, and then there is other privacy mixing solution named Portalgate, which also plans to integrate us. So, thank you for your attention. That's for me. If you would have any questions,